It's a rather dull morning or afternoon now down here. And welcome to another episode of Dear Van. The weather is dull, but Dear Van is not going to be dull. And so we're happy to have you here. As usual, go out there and let them know that we have a special guest here right by me. And we're going to go ahead with today's episode. So, as usual, just go ahead, like our pages, our channels, subscribe, so you'd always have a notification when we come online, and then reach out to your friends and let them know that, hey, the guys are on again, and let's do this. So just give me a second to share mine, and then we can go ahead. So we're still discussing managing money in marriage, which is always a tough one to discuss. And as usual, we're going to really be interactive. And so keep bringing your questions if you have any question, if you have any suggestion, any contribution, let us know, and then we'll deal with that. Okay, so Prissy, thanks for joining us for today's episode of Dear Van. How's it going?
I'm good. How about
Okay.
you?
Yeah, good. All good. All good. Now, so I just shared mine. Let's delve right into it. So, Prissy, as usual, has some hacks for us about how to how to manage money in marriage. So, as usual, I mean, I'll just be here listening to all that she has to say, and then yeah, we take it from there. So, Prissy, straight in. What are some of the hacks? Hack number one.
Okay, so today it's going to be a shared hack. And so I'm going to mention some and then Van is going to contribute.
Hopefully not.
Okay, so I'll say the first one is being open about our financial status, as in how much I have, how much Van has. And that informs us on how much we need to spend or how we need to budget. So I know how much Van earns. He also knows how much I earn. So the openness is very important.
Right. Yeah, that's right. But I would just want to chip this in. As usual, I like it when I disagree with Prissy. Like she says something and I just say no to it and give an alternative solution. I love it. Okay, so to all couples out there, yes, you need to be open, but um, don't let that be reason why you have more demands or whatever, because the openness part has two sides to it. One is that obviously you know what your spouse earns, so you will not go about making unnecessary demands. The other side is that because you know how much your spouse earns, you would go about making some demands. You get what I mean? You go in your head like, hey, but you can afford this, you can afford this. Hi, Sir David. Good to have you. And so, yeah, on the openness hack that Prissy just shared, please, ladies and gentlemen, knowing your spouse's salary is supposed to help you plan better. It's supposed to help you achieve better things. It's not supposed to make you say that, but we can afford this or we can buy. Why are you not? You get what I mean? Okay. Then, secondly, I think another thing about this whole openness thing is that if you, for example, if I know how much Prissy earns, I should also immediately calculate what her expenses are. You get what I mean? Because there is also an opportunity for people to think like, oh, but you earn this. The fact that the person earns this doesn't mean that is the disposable income around. You know that you pay bills, you do all that, blah, blah, blah. And so if there is something coming up, a project coming up, or something you want to do, then always go to your simple math. It should be your earnings minus the expenses. That will give you what is available to be used for whatever. It wouldn't just be what the person earns. Oh, but you earn X amount. Why can't we do this? Okay, Prissy, hack number 2.
Okay, so before we go to hack number 2, I want to ask if it is okay to hide what you earn from a spouse if you have a troublesome spouse who might demand.
This is a very good question. And if you are watching, please go ahead and let us know if it's good to hide what you earn from your spouse. This is my principle, our principle, what we live by. It is not okay, right? Because, I mean, how do you say someone is bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh, but not money of your money? I mean, that kind of that kind of thing. So it is not. But the reality is that not everyone builds that foundation from the get-go. You get it? So not everyone has that kind of foundation. So it gets pretty difficult along the way to change. And so that goes back to starting your relationships on the right notes. Learn to be open about everything. I wonder how you say you are sharing your life with someone and money will not be part of their life. I mean, so it goes back to the foundation. When you start a relationship, you try to go into marriage, try to be open, be very open. Then there will be nothing to hide. It saves you a lot of headache. You might not know. I mean, because if there is something I can't afford, I don't even need to say it. Prissy knows already, so I wouldn't have that headache. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing is that when we want to embark on a project, we sit down to discuss and we forge the way forward, whether we will go ahead or we are going to not go with the project. And sometimes one wants to go with the project, I don't want to. The other times that I want to and he doesn't, and the other times that we both agree. And so, but with ours, if one person doesn't agree, we don't do it at all. But then I believe that it might not work for some couples. I also believe that there are some couples too who would want to start something and they have people outside their marriage they feel more how do you call it more knowledgeable at advising them. They will not discuss with their spouses first. Sometimes their spouses go outside and hear about it from outsiders before, and sometimes that could cause the spouse to frustrate them because they felt that if you have this project, why would you tell an outsider first before letting me know?
Right.
So we believe that the two of us can sit and then put something together.
That's hack number 2. Now, before we go ahead, Sir David says that it's not really necessary to hide anything, but it depends on foundations of the relationship. I 100% agree with you, Sir David, because if the foundation is not set right, then in the middle of it, it becomes difficult to readjust stuff. I mean, so from the get-go, ensure that there is openness, you share whatever it is with your spouse, and it saves you a lot of headache, like I said. Hey, Stevie Latte, good to have you. Then about what Prissy said. Now let me play the devil's advocate here, and like I said, I just love disagreeing with Prissy. So you see, a lot of things point back to the foundations of relationships, of marriages, or whatever, right? Let's say that you're looking to start an investment in something. For lack of a better example, let's use stocks. I don't do stocks. I don't know anything about it. So now, it might be that your spouse wouldn't be the right person to even speak to about it because your spouse might not have the technical wherewithal to advise whether it's good or not. But it doesn't also give you the leeway to say, okay, you're not you're not informing your spouse about it. So yes, you might seek technical expertise, technical advice from outside, but at least let your spouse know that this is what you want to do. Except in situations where it doesn't mean jack to your spouse. I mean, say say your spouse doesn't even know what stocks are, and he will say there is a good opportunity, and your spouse will go like, hey, what's that? Blah, 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 and you think it will frustrate you. But I think, you still need to just inform your spouse to save you from trouble later in life, because you can really have trouble. What do you think? Yeah, might be good to. So about the spouse going to hear about it later on elsewhere it's not right. I mean, it's just not right. But whatever be the case.
There's another point direction to that.
Yeah.
Like, that there are some people who have spouses that they do that can't talk. Like,
right. Yeah.
We discuss.
Yeah. You're like you married a parrot. And, So yeah.
We discuss something in the room, and the whole world knows about it.
Yeah.
Is it also right to hide certain investments you want to do from such a person?
You see, so my grandfather used to have a saying, I mean, when he was alive, that when you catch a bird, you don't defeather the bird before you come home and ask your father, what bird is this? So this is something we would have to live with all our lives. If you get married to someone, okay, you get to know the person. If you actually agree to go ahead with the relationship, with marriage and everything, you see, when the issues are coming, you learn to find ways to go about it. You get what I mean? So if you married a parrot and you think that the parrot will go broadcast whatever, and it might even get to your competitors before you even execute it, then just give the parrot just the headline. Hey, my wife or my husband, I think we're going to look at this pretty soon. Then that's all. If you give details and you go against
it might even be worse.
Yeah,
not giving details might even.
Okay, so it will go like, hey, but yeah, you've not told me anything. This is just find a way around it. Some of the things. So we would come here, share some steps, or some, like Prissy will come and share hacks and all. You will need to tailor it to your marriage, because she might be saying something from our viewpoint, how we see things, and it's based on the foundations we have or whatever. It might not necessarily directly apply to you. So you might want to tailor it. So you informing your spouse might mean, how should you, so apart from headline, how else do you tell your spouse, hey, so yeah, next month I'm looking to start a new business, and it would be maybe something about the stock exchange. That's all. You've informed your spouse, right? Yeah, you've informed your spouse. Or maybe
I think if somebody has such an experience, the person can tell us.
Exactly.
They are able to maneuver them.
Yeah. So if you think, if you have skills and expertise at sharing projected plans or your planned projects with your spouse who talks a lot, just let us know how to go about it, because really, I don't have experience.
There's another kind of spouse who is a pessimist.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, there are some people who are naturally pessimists.
Yeah.
Like, they are very good and gifted at that.
Yeah.
When you tell them something, they'll point out all the negative things that they would never see any positive thing about what you're going to do. How do you deal with such a spouse?
I think if you have a pessimistic spouse, you are blessed. Really, because you see, mostly you wouldn't have thought through a lot of things. But if you have a spouse who would like, hey, but what of this? Hey, but what if this goes wrong? Hey, but what if the dollar all of a sudden becomes weaker than the Zimbabwean dollar? Like, some of the things will never happen. Yeah, but if you have such a spouse, what it does is that it helps you probe stuff, and it helps you not lose money. Because personally, I think if I have a spouse, you ask questions, I mean, about projects and everything. But if I have a spouse who maybe will not think through or ask anything about it, then we might lose a lot of money.
My question is not like a spouse who asks questions to like understand, but there are people who
they just don't want to understand.
They just want the thing to end. They are not
risk
averse, so they don't want.
Also, they are risk averse, so they will not want you to do anything, right?
Yeah, they don't want you to do anything.
Exactly.
So they just come out with negative reasons why it won't work.
And they are not ready to listen to any reasons you are giving. If you have a spouse like that, then your prayers should be more. I mean, because
or could you say you still want to you still carry out your project and not care about
but then if it goes,
you know that this person is like gifted in that
like, but it's more like every project has a risk factor. It means that if it goes down south, you lose money, you'd always have war in the home, you know. So and your spouse will always blame you for being the one losing out on all the money. So what I would say in that is try, yes, like Prissy is saying, the person is naturally gifted to be a pessimist, but you can't do much but to try to speak to the person, try to get the person to understand, because sometimes the pessimism stems from not understanding what exactly it is. If I can break it down for a 5-year-old to understand and say that, okay, all that we're going to do means that we put X here, after Y number of months, we get Z, and that means that you can actually buy that dress you've been asking about. Then maybe you go, oh, yeah, my dress will be catered for. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine, let's go. So I mean, I think that the best way to go about this is to try to talk your spouse through it. Because for a person like me, that would be very frustrating. Because when I want to undertake projects, especially things that has to do with investments, if you try to come across as being not supportive, you will not be my friend. So yeah, so that would be quite difficult. So I mean, if anyone has a hack as to how to go about that, let us know. I don't think we have the experience with people who are very pessimistic, because you are not, I'm not, so it gets difficult to answer. So if anyone has a life hack in that regard, please let us know on the chat. Yeah, Prissy, any other hack you have for us?
I think I pushed that to you.
Oh, you push. Okay, so I think that my hack in managing money in your marriage is to, and Prissy will not like to hear this, but is to sometimes treat yourself good. I mean, that's an anti-hack. But see, this is my whole view about the thing. We try, we save, we invest, we do everything, and then in 70 years or less, we die. Find time, not always, but at least keep something to just make yourself happy, right? Prissy, do you agree with this hack?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, exactly, yeah. So sometimes make yourself happy. I mean, I know it doesn't flow with the line of thought and everything, but see, most times stress doesn't help marriages. You know, always, actually. So most times people are stressed, always having to pay something. Hey, take some time off. Go and maybe once in a month. Yeah, Oh My Soul. Yeah, so let's discuss Oh My Soul. So before we got married, we had a hack, right? For maybe that was not for managing my money, but so we had a day of something we do called Oh My Soul, right? And so once a month, and remember we were students, and so students always don't have money, but we try to put money together, and then once a while we go just get pork, meat, a lot of meat, just eat. That's it. I mean, we can't come and kill ourselves, you know. So just even if it's once a month or something, save something, go distress. That way you'll be refreshed. Oh, it sounds like I'm rhyming.
After a hard work.
Yeah, so
not when you are
yeah, not when you are not
enjoying
working hard, exactly. Yeah. So go distress and then find something. I mean, make yourself happy. Because you also need to be happy in the marriage. You know, it's a lot of things come to stress you. A lot of stuff are there to stress you. So if you get the opportunity, just go ahead. And it's also a way to manage money. If you are not stressed, it helps you not handle money. You know, there are people who spend a lot when they are stressed. Oh, you've not heard about it? Okay, yeah. So
So the way I distress is to go and walk in
the shopping center,
shopping and just look at things.
Yeah, but something might tempt you to buy
something.
Yes. So you see, my hack is actually a wonderful hack. What it is that find a way to distress yourself and your spouse. That way your spouse will not always go shopping and say that's how I distress. Then you end up doing impulse buying and then getting things you don't. You see? Yeah, so I think I got a good hack to your stress reliever, right? So yeah, guys, always find a way to feel happy. And then
And I think so I have one hack.
Okay.
You usually do that.
Okay.
So I don't know if it is with all men.
Okay.
But I think men generally don't like shopping. Like
yes, personally I hate shopping.
And I realized that in the past, when I went to the mall with my husband to buy things, I know that he had a card. So sometimes I could afford to go exceed the budget.
Okay.
But then
it's confession time. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I realized that at a point he would just give me the exact amount and then wouldn't go with me because I know when he's with me I can afford to add on extra expenses.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that was Van's hack to.
And I even didn't communicate it. So yeah, that's a good hack. This is really a hack from observation. Prissy has really observed it. So hey, husbands out there, see, don't if you are there and your wife picks the thing and you can't say, hey, put it down. You can say, hey, put it down. So even if you give out your card to your wife, say that, hey, so today we are not going beyond this, and then just allow her to go use her managerial skills to make it work. So this is a super hack. I think I'll need to patent this hack. I mean, it's very good, and I'll teach on it. People can learn about this hack. Yeah, so I think it's a good one. Don't go and there is a very funny hack that is usually shared. When you go into the mall, I usually don't like going anyway. So I would prefer even sitting in the car and then Prissy will go do her stuff and then come back. I hate shopping. It's just the fact of just walking around, and I call it wasting time. Walking around, not knowing what to pick, and Prissy will see options, go.
And try to get the cheapest.
So I hate it. So what I feel could be done, is that in this regard, just sit in that's if you get to go with your spouse, sit in the parking lot, be checking the news or something. All you need to do is to be thinking about Russia, Ukraine, and all that. That's what you need to do. Then just have your spouse go in there, go do whatever, but not to exceed the budget. Yeah, that's a good hack.
But you know, the walking around for long too, it's also a way to
exercise.
Cut down cost.
Walking around?
Yeah, because we do a lot of window shopping. We look at what is available and the best price.
Yeah.
Unlike men who would go in.
Yeah, I'll just go straight. pick, go
without
out.
caring about the price. And sometimes you buy things double the price because of that. But then
But
I would go to maybe
the place to get it cheaper.
Maybe a queue for socks.
Okay.
And then look at, sample all the prices, and then pick the one that is quality but less. So that is why we ladies keep longer in the market. Sometimes we can go around the same thing like 5 times.
Okay.
And we have to decide.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, I can pick stuff, but then as I am walking in the mall, I'll be changing my mind and then be dropping it. So if I go to the mall and work like 2 hours, within that 2 hours, I would have changed my mind on some of the things I picked. That, okay, I may not need it again. Then I start dropping it.
Okay, so yeah, gentlemen, just leave them to go work 2 hours and be thinking about Russia, Ukraine. Yeah, that will help the world. I mean, so yeah, you can. Yeah, so I think that we would close on this hack, but it's good Prissy mentioned it because I've not really thought about it as a hack, but I mean, she has observed it. And so, I was going to share about a hack, a semi-hack that people do in the mall. So when you go to the mall with your spouse and you are not going to sit in the car, let it look. Yeah, so Karen is saying that mall 2 hours. Yeah, Karen, is that serious? So I go like, hey, so every time Prissy wants me to accompany her, and even today, she wants us to go to this mall, this place. I said, hey, that's the reason you have a driver's license. I just hate it. I mean, hi, Jackie, how's it going? Good to have you. Then, hello, Sarah. Now, so another thing, and this might sound funny, but hold your spouse's hand whilst shopping. That way, if she doesn't go around picking stuff and all. But people will think you are really in love, but it's an economic, way to shop. You're just trying to save money. So hold her hand. When you see she's going towards a particular direction, you just push her to the other direction. These are all smart ways to save money. It's not all the ones you know. These are real. People will think, and if you think she's going towards a place where you'll be spending more, just divert her attention. Bring up something that will pique her interest. Then she would forget whatever you are. I mean, whatever she was going for. But if you have a very stubborn wife, she'll still go in there. And then, Oh, Roxanne, this one works, right? You said exactly. I think you've tried this and it works. Yeah. So I think that in summary, there is a lot of things that go back to our foundations, right? Whatever we hold very dear as principles to us. So about the openness and everything, there are real things, realities in marriage. I mean, for example, you're going to do a certain deal and your wife really doesn't understand. You can only explain as much, especially if your spouse doesn't understand that industry or whatever. I mean, you are open, you've told your spouse, but you might get some external feed that makes you take a better decision. I mean, it's not like casting stones, or you go like, oh, if the expert is telling you the right thing and your wife says no, you go like, oh, but my wife says no. I don't know how it will work for you. But
aside the experts thing, some people also have like people who are not experts and they just take advice from them. Even though they are not experts, it's not like they have anything to do with the business.
Okay, like, just because they listen to them more or something, like
they would
rather take
advice from friends than maybe their spouses.
Let me play the devil's advocate here. Maybe the spouse continues to give wrong advice. So what's the point?
For some, like nothing from the beginning of the marriage. Some even is their father.
Okay.
So like everything they have to do,
they will tell
their father or their mother first.
Okay.
And the spouse is like hasn't been how do you say?
Like they don't take
It's not like the spouse. They don't feel the spouse
has anything valuable to offer.
It's not like valuable. They would rather go and see their mom, and like they are not able to cut that mother father.
What that means is that the foundation. I mean, these are foundational issues. I mean, so if the foundation is not right, there are a lot of stuff that wouldn't go right. You get what I mean? So, yeah, we'll just know your spouse and learn how to communicate. Learn how to, I mean, let your spouse know about all these things, especially if you married a parrot, you know. I mean, and you are in business, then there are things that you need to really watch out for. Okay, so thank you so much for staying with us today. I think next week might be the last week we do this managing money in marriage. We'll have a guest around next week as well, and then we'll go on to more awesome topics, right? Yeah, other topics as well. So thank you so much for staying with us. If you've not yet subscribed to our page, if you've not yet liked our page, I really don't know what exactly to say, you know. You get what I mean? Yeah, so just go out there, hit the like, subscribe. You will not be charged any money for hitting like or subscribe. No one charges you. Yeah. And we'll get back to you next week. Go have a great week, and always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thank you. Cheers. And bye-bye.
Bye. When you marry, initially people would want to see, how are these people doing? Sometimes, especially when you have a big wedding. So people also tend to want to impress others by sewing, dressing up, renting big apartments, buying expensive cars. Meanwhile, you will be suffering inside. Your finances cannot hold, and that is what people go through a lot here. So they try to impress everyone outside the marriage except the two of them.